Tom, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Not bad at all, not bad at all. Two guys you've mentioned a lot, both on either side of the ball, both for number 6. So just wanted to ask a little bit more about them. Just what's just tell us a little bit more, I guess, about what's impressed you about Cam Camper and about James Head during this piece.
Yeah, I would say to start with Cam, just got here in January. Just love his mindset, man. He's a gym rat kind of kid. He's always up in the office watching extra film, taking care of his business in the classroom, but just loves the game, loves to study. That sticks out to me. I mean, those things are noticeable, and it shows up in practice. He's just he understands football. He's got a huge chip on his shoulder. He's a late bloomer. Just really has in his mind a lot to prove, and love how he practices. He's a tough guy. Got really good lengths to him, can run. When you get the ball in his hands, he's able to be effective as a ball carrier of getting yards, and runs good routes and gets open and catches the football, has good ball skills. So, all the things, but it's just the thing that really sticks out to me is just his work ethic, and how much he loves studying the game. Not every kid's like that. And then James, you just take a guy like that who's been here for so many years and had such a tough year last year with the foot injury that just kept him out of the first half of the season, and he never was even close to being back to what he was before that. Feel like he's changed his body, really bought in. I think we're finally seeing the benefits of Coach Wellman. He come through, he got here in the pandemic, all that. Then obviously last year's challenges with all the different things we had going on and with injuries and different guys. And so James finally had a chance to have a full cycle of being healthy and training and getting his lean muscle mass numbers right, reducing his body fat percentage, and just really trying to, it's showing up. He's twitchier. He's just really been, I think, playing his best football, this fall camp that since he's been here. So, and we needed him to do that, and he's worked so hard. He's just such a great kid, and he comes from such a good family, and they just, so respectful, but man, just fun to be around. Does what you ask him to do. Just always where he's supposed to be. Been part of our leadership council for so many years now, and he's a little quiet, but within that room, he leads, and holds guys accountable and isn't afraid to challenge guys and those kind of things. So isn't a big stand in front of the whole group and give a speech kind of guy, which is fine. He doesn't need to. But I just been impressed with him. I think he's playing really well right now and understands our system. Obviously being here many years, but he's healthy and is trim and is still as big and strong as he's been. And I just like where he's at. So I like those two guys.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
I'm good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm okay. A lot of talk about Sean Shivers and then Jalen Lucas. I wanted to ask you about Josh Henderson and kind of what you've seen from him. I know he's here in the spring and now in fall camp, and kind of where you see him, falling in that running back rotation.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that doesn't get talked about as much, but I really, really have a ton of respect for his work ethic, his preparation process. So he's just smart, tough, dependable, and very efficient as a running back in so many ways. In pass pro, running the football, is kind of a sneaky way of making people miss and getting vertical and getting, positive yards and just like the way he moves and just love his preparation. Well, just kind of like you mentioned with Cam, I think he's just one of those guys that really is locked into what he's doing. He's going to be on special teams and a guy that's just very, very well-rounded. I don't, see, something that he can't do. He's able to do a lot of things. He can catch, he can block, he can run. And like you said, he's also big and sturdy enough to be able to help us on special teams too. So just a very well-rounded guy. And I think he's been a really strong addition to our running backs room. And, those other two guys have different, types of builds and skill sets, but having unique and different types of body types in that room and different things that they can do is very important, and so he's a great compliment to those other two guys.
Jack.
Tom, I guess to ask the standard question just around this time in camp, you've been through one scrimmage, you've been in pads for a little while. Is there anybody that's popped a more serious injury? Anybody you're maybe worried about for the opener at this point? Or are you still fairly healthy, kind of in terms of maybe in particular, I guess, the guys that you know you'd be counting on heavily?
Yeah, I would say pretty healthy right now. It's obviously there's always a guy or two that's not getting as many reps because we're trying to either, nursing back from a minor setback or just trying to protect them just because they've played a lot of football here and there's no reason for them to take extra shots in those situations. You want those to happen on game day. So feel pretty good about that right now. I got a few guys that we're definitely counting on that haven't practiced the last few days and getting them back. And they should be back here this next week, which will be great. And just kind of meeting this morning, going through that. So we expect to have pretty much everybody squared away here for when we come back after scrimmage number 2, which will be coming up here on Friday. Got 2 more practices before that. And so feel good about that. Obviously it's a daily thing. I mean, you never know. And so you can't, coach in fear of that. It's a reality of it. You just want to make sure you put your guys in the best position to get prepared. And so we just continue to do that, and we're going to keep practicing hard and being physical but really emphasis on, staying on our feet and being able to finish tackles that way and finish blocks that way and just being guys that can bend and play in those kind of situations when they stay up.
Jeff,
Hey, Coach. Now that you're a couple weeks into fall camp, how do you feel the 2 linebacker transfers, Bradley Jennings and Jared Casey, are kind of catching on in their process with learning the defense?
Yeah, I tell you, the biggest perk is the fact that they were here in January. So they've not only been through spring football now, they've been through our weight training program twice, the 8 weeks that we have before spring ball, and then the follow-up after that, and then the 8 to 9 weeks over the summer, So then all the OTAs we had over the summer to learn the system in addition to spring football. So Bradley Jennings to me is a really physical player. He plays the Mike linebacker spot for us, and he and Ace, which is Aaron Casey, just really those guys are battling back and forth and expect both of them to play a lot of football for us. So really, really encouraged by Bradley's progress, understanding football. Really kind of, been taught. His dad was a linebacker at a very high level and just kind of been well trained. He's like, even when you talk to him, I've been making these reads since I was in grade school with my dad. So I think he understands that part of it, and I like how he's transitioned his body, gotten leaner and a step quicker from when he first got here. And that's been really positive. And it's just a physical guy. So I really like where he's at. And he's going to be a huge part of our defense. And then Aaron Casey's probably improved as much as anybody since he's gotten here. A new system, different things. So the way we do some things schematically, you've had to learn. Our most athletic linebacker, without question. Matter of fact, if you just lined up and had our defense run, I would just did a race. He's probably top 3 in speed. So really excited about that for him. And I think that's something that his confidence has continued to grow. And as you've seen him understand the system better and the checks and adjustments and things that we do in our defense, he just keeps getting better and better. So he's definitely playing his best football since he's been here right now. And that's important for us. And we need to have that depth at linebacker and on special teams. And then obviously being able to have guys that can run and finish plays, So I'm excited about both of those guys. They've been really good additions to our program. And I think that just these next several days will be even more so as we kind of get through the install. And now you're into really the execution piece of what we do. I continue to allow them to keep getting better and better.
Mike Keegan.
Yeah, hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about the bowl position. It seems like a role that you've kind of evolved into during your time here at IU. What do you like that you've gotten out of that role so far since you started emphasizing it? What more do you want to get out of it? And who are the main guys competing for that role?
Yeah, there's no doubt it's been something we've really expanded. When I first got here, we called it by that same name, but really recruited more of a defensive end guy in high school to play that position. Now we've really transitioned into recruiting more of a linebacker guy to play that position, a longer, taller linebacker from high school. Just feel like that's a better way to recruit that spot. It's becoming more effective for us to do that. And there's always going to be a little mix of both. Some guys that will play with their hand down in high school and some will be different. But what I think we've found, even a guy like Lance Bryant, as he's been here, he's really playing his best, I believe, since he's been here, and he needs to continue. I added Miles Jackson to that spot, which is really more of an outside linebacker body type, 250-pound guy that's strong and athletic and really can give us just a really presence in the run game and then also pass rush ability. And I think that's the thing that we're trying to get the more out of it is the pass rush and a pass rush guy, and then a guy that has the flexibility to do multiple things. He's really a hybrid for us. When you think about our Husky position, that's the hybrid in the secondary. Well, the bull is our hybrid position on the defensive line / outside linebacker. He's really the edge guy, as they would kind of call it in today's defenses. And he's truly, he could be a 3-4 outside linebacker or a 4-3 rush end, that kind of guy. It's a unique skill set to find, And so, Deshaun McCullough is also playing there in situational things. And I think that's a real strength of his, without question. He really played in high school to the field. Now he's more to the boundary for us. But that kind of person to rush the passer, drop in coverage, place a man, do some different things with that per the call is where we're looking for. And that's where the linebacker part comes in, the ability to track the back at times, So there's just different things that he does more than just a traditional defensive end. And we felt like in order to recruit the best players for that spot, we need to really kind of target the way we're going to package that and really kind of brand that position as a player and what we're looking for. So it's been definitely it's not an easy position to recruit to, but it's one that we're excited about. And I think that as that role grows and the guys get to see what this guy does and what he can do for his future and his development for the next level, I think it's really key for us to find those elite guys that can help us be game changers for us in our defense.
All right, keep it on, Tyler.
There's been a lot of talk about Connor and Jack so far. I was wondering what kind of sticks out to you about your true freshman QB, Brennan Sorsby, however,
Yes.
And should Indiana fans kind of be excited about the possibility of seeing him?
There's no question. I'm really excited about Brendan, and he's a guy that, if you go back and look at his high school history, is not a seasoned veteran quarterback at all. Really just kind of had a chance to play it predominantly his senior year, played a little bit his junior year, and then was injured his senior year, and that kind of affected his recruitment. Love his length, love his size, love his athleticism, very natural arm, very smooth release, very quick release. He's obviously swimming right now. With all that he's had to learn, when you come in over the summer and don't have spring football at the quarterback position, it's just really, really hard. And so, but the natural talent is there. Love his personality. He's a natural leader. And that's a key thing. I think the guys rally around him. He's got a great personality, attracts people to him. I love that about him. I'm really excited about him. He's obviously got to come here and work and be developed and buy into all the things he needs to do to play one day. But, to me, he has all the tools you're looking for, the size and the speed and the athleticism, and then just the ability to make all the throws, And so, but now it's a matter of learning the system, and mastering that is step number one. And hard to do when you haven't had a lot of time and a lot of reps and doesn't get as many reps, obviously, and being a young guy in that quarterback room and during fall. But he's gotten several, and that will continue. So, but yes, definitely excited for his future and think he's going to be a really good one.
Tyler, then we'll wrap up the group.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well. DJ Matthews said yesterday that he kind of initially thought he wouldn't be coming back to IU. What were just the conversations with him as he went through that decision-making process? And I guess more generally, how did you just see him kind of deal with that adversity that comes with the torn ACL and trying to get back on the field?
Yeah, I think until you've gone through that, it's hard to really understand the mental strain that puts on you. It's one of those injuries that everybody knows it's kind of when it happens, hey, that season's over and you're going to be in 8 months type recovery. So it can be devastating, and he's far from home and has a family, and I think those things all come into play. And honestly, though, for he and I, we're pretty close. We spend a lot of time together, he and I, one-on-one, and just helping him develop as a man. And that's something that we have really been able to do quite a bit. But I knew he was struggling, especially, in that time, after the season was over and we're out recruiting and obviously he's still having from post-surgery, not that far removed from that. And we have changes on our offense, a new offensive coordinator and then a new position coach, just all those things were happening. And so, but you know what, we stayed in close contact. I was always real with him and I want him to be where he wants to be and just continued to help him through that process. And I knew there was going to be some decisions that he had to make. And I, like I said, I wanted him to be here because he wanted to be here. And his heart told him that this is where he's supposed to be. And so we just went through that process together, and I just really so thrilled that he chose to stay and just think he's a really special person. Obviously has a very, very special skill set as a receiver. But I just want to see him come back and be 100% healthy. And that is a continuous process he's going through to work through that. He's really practiced well so far and just trying to keep those reps where they need to be at this point, his progression. And I'm excited for his future, And so he's just got such a great heart, such a great person that fun to be around. He's become one of our leaders in that room. I challenged him for that, and he's responded. So I'm excited for DJ and for his upcoming season.
All right, Rick, last one.
Yeah, hi, Tom. 2 years ago, you guys were one of the best teams in the country in creating turnovers. Last year, it obviously wasn't the case. How much of that is just the way a game unfolds, just out of your control? And what are you doing this year to try and get it back where the turnovers are a bigger factor?
Yeah, there's no question. I'm not going to sit here and act like that. I remember, I think it was 2018. We did not create the takeaways like we had created in the previous 2 years. It was very frustrating, and it wasn't like we worked on them any less, didn't emphasize them any less, didn't teach anything any different. But they just didn't come. And sometimes they come in certain moments, and sometimes they don't. But there's no question. We're doing everything possible. I mean, it's just absolute obsession of a focus to be able to create those. Our guys are buying into that. They know that's our DNA. They know that's our culture. We talk about takeaways, tackling, and effort as our DNA on defense. And the first word I mentioned there was takeaways. And I just think in today's game, there's such a huge part of how you steal possessions and be able to get an opportunity for your offense to be set up in better field position. I have to drive 80 yards to score. So, it's been emphasized in a massive way. Our guys know that every single day. We got back to some things that I believed in doing to create that emphasis during practice. And that's what we do with our guys. And we have takeaway goals every day. And if we don't reach those, there's accountability for that. And I'm right there with them, running those accountabilities with them together, side by side. Sometimes at my age, I can't breathe very well during those accountability times. But you know what? I'm going to always do it with our guys, and because we got to create them. And I want that to just be fighting, clawing, scratching to get that football. And that's what we call them takeaways, because they're not just going to give them to us. We got to take the ball aggressively and violently from the offense. And so that's the emphasis. And yes, we live and die by those, and they're huge for us, and as is every team. I mean, I think everybody understands that. But there's no doubt that it was a huge part of 2020 and even previous years. That's been kind of our trademark. And like you said, that's why it's, every phase of the game has DNA in our program, and takeaways, tackling, and effort are the three for defense.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Awesome. Have a great day. Leo.